Guys, this is my first video on my channel. Today I am talking you about the induction and competence. One of the topic comes under CSIR NET syllabus in the module Developmental Biology. I suggest you to refer 9th edition Scott of Gilbert as reference textbook. So let us start on induction and competence. Signal induction refers to cascade of signaling events during which a cell or tissue signals to another cell or tissue to influence its developmental fate. From the earliest stages of development through the adult, cell differentiation and behavior, such as addition, migration, and cell division, are regulated by signal from one cell being received by another cell. Indeed, these interactions, which are often reciprocal, are what allow organisms to be constructed. The development of vertebrate eye is a classical example used to describe the tissue organization via intercellular interactions. If the vertebrate eye, light is transmitted through the transparent corneal tissue and focused by the lens tissue, eventually impinging on the tissue of the neural retina. The precise arrangement of tissue in the eye can't be disturbed without impairing its function. Such coordination in the construction of organs is accomplished by one group of cells changing the behavior of an adjacent set of cells, thereby causing them to change their shape, mitotic rate, or cell fate. This kind of interactions at close range between two or more cells or tissue of different histories and properties is called induction. There are at least two components to every inductive interaction. The first component is the inducer, the tissue that produces a signal that changes cellular behavior of the other tissue. Often, this signal is a secreted protein called a paracrine factor. Paracrine factors are proteins made by a cell or a group of cells that alter the behavior or differentiation of adjacent cells. The second component, the responder, is the tissue being induced. Cell of the responding tissue must have both a responder protein for the inducing factor and the ability to respond to the signal. The ability to respond to a specific inductive signal is called competence. Even if receptor proteins are present, not every tissue is competent to respond to an inducer's signal. The figure here shows the ectodermal competence and the ability to respond to the optic vesicle inducer in Xenopus laevis. The optic vesicle is able to induce lens formation in the anterior portion of the ectoderm. If the optic vesicle is placed beneath the ectoderm in the flank or abdomen of the same organism, the ectoderm will not be able to form lens tissue. Only head ectoderm is competent to respond to the signals from the optic vesicle by producing a lens. Often, one induction will give a tissue competence to respond to another inducer. Studies on amphibians suggest that the first inducers of the lens may be the foregut ectoderm and heart-forming mesoderm that underlie the lens-forming ectoderm during the early and mid-gastrula stages. The anterior neural plate may produce the next signals, including a signal that promotes the synthesis of PAX6, a transcription factor in the anterior ectoderm. Thus, PAX6 is an important transcription factor in providing the competence to respond to the inducers from the optic cup. Thus, although the optic vesicle appears to be the inducer, the anterior ectoderm has already been induced by at least two other tissues. The optic vesicle appears to secrete two paracrine factors, one of which may be BMP4, a protein that is received by the lens cells and induces the production of SOX2, that is a transcription factors. The other paracrine factor is FGF8, a signal that induces the appearance of the LMAF transcription factor. The combination of PAC6, SOX2 and LMAF in the ectoderm is needed for the production of lens and activation of lens-specific genes such as delta crystalline. So that's all about induction and competence.